Ladies and gentlemen, this is David Mirikitani with another episode of Weighing In, brought to you by USA Wrestling, the national governing body for wrestling in the United States, and by Nike Wrestling. Go to athleteps.com for all of your Nike and USA Wrestling branded gear, like that clean red jacket my good friend Mark Ostrander has on. Looking good, Mark. How are you, brother?
Good. How are you, David?
I'm good. You and me are having technical difficulties. We had our backdrops disappear on us. So I see the corner of your bar, the M&D in the background. I like that. That's for Mark and David, I'm sure.
And close.
Maybe Dana. Could be Dana.
My wife Dana would think that's probably appropriate.
See, I didn't tell you on air. I saw off air. I saw that ahead of time. So that was my opening joke. But my backdrop had disappeared on me. I actually interviewed Rich Bender on Matt Chat, which obviously I recommend people watch all the Matt Chats because I enjoy them, but that's the best storyteller in the business. And he tells an unbelievable story about Gable Stevenson's gold medal match. It's worth watching that just for that. So I know you always try to peek when you're on the train or whatever, but it's definitely a good watch. So GT is on assignment today doing big international Nike things. I got a chance to meet, I know Shane Goodell, his boss, who was on the show when we were in Iowa. And then Shane's boss, Eddie, I got a chance to finally meet him in person. Awesome person. Does a truckload for the sport of wrestling. So shout out to Shane and to Eddie and GT. So much to get to, Mark. Do you want to talk? Where do you want to start? You want to start with injuries? You want to start with Bout in the Ballpark? Where do you want to start?
Probably injuries are going to be the most impactful right now. That's going to be coming up. Everything else just kind of already happened. So, we will have
to talk about Bout in the Ballpark because it was cool.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Because I'm happy. I made some good picks.
He did.
I
did. But more importantly, just what USA Wrestling was able to put on and, the bigger impact. Okay. So Brayton Lee is out for the year, tore his elbow up. The terrible thing about injuries, well, anytime injuries are terrible this late in the year, trying to get a medical red shirt is almost impossible because you wrestled like 80, 90% of your schedule.
Yep.
So when we get to the rankings, I don't think I highlighted that, but I think everybody had Brayton Lee in because when the rankings came out, the news hadn't come out. So that really hinders Minnesota. It felt like they had, like you and I were talking, it felt like they had without bonus kind of 30 points on lock with him and Gable, and it felt like, okay, they're probably going to beat a 40 with just those two guys. And that's the way you do math. Like Penn State's got 5 number 1 guys right now. So if they all do that, that's 100 points, so that brings Minnesota back to the pack. The news that everybody was kind of, we'll wait and see, is Ferrari. So Coach Smith announced on his radio show he's out for the year. I don't think we need to talk about what that does to Oklahoma State mathematically. I mean, you take 20 points out of their lineup, and then for people that don't nerd out about this like we do, you score points at 3 ways in the national tournament. 1 is your placing points, 2 is your advancement points, and 3rd is your bonus points. So you get 16 for winning. You get 4 for advancing. You don't get an advancement point in the final, but 32 to 16, 16 to 8, 8 to 4, 4 to 2. So if you win, you get 20 points. So that's where we're coming up with that number. And then if you pinned your way through the tournament, you could get 10 more for 30. So a champion's going to score somewhere between 20 and 30 points. Ferrari's obviously not a pinner, but I think he probably scored like 23 to 25 points last year at the national tournament. You take 20 out, because the rankings don't include any bonus points, which I think is fair. It's not accurate, but it's fair. And he drops. I think the more impactful thing with Ferrari is the impact it's had on the team emotionally. And I think we've seen that in the duels. So if I had chosen, I probably would have went Bout on the Ballpark first because of some historical things. But I was talking to GT that night. By the way, there were 2 Ostranders down there. It's nice. You could have made an appearance. You get off your throne and come join the common folk once in a while. That'd be nice, But no, I saw your brother and your son, and they treated me kindly. They were very kind with the libation. So I appreciate that. Oklahoma State did not score a takedown in 7 out of 10 matches.
Correct.
Oklahoma State lost those 7 matches, obviously. I'll tell you, when you watch this, if you're spinning it for Iowa, what you say is we won 7 out of 10 matches. We won the close matches. Okay. Gear's better than Assad. That's fine. Fix is better than DeSanto. DeSanto wrestled really well. He's still probably the 3rd best guy in the country. And Ibarra is 5 seconds away from beating Master Giovanni. So we feel like if we get Ayala back, we could have beat him at that weight too. That's, I think, and I'm going to put it out there and you can counterpoint whatever else. If you're Oklahoma State, you go, Master Giovanni is clearly compromised. His foot's either ankle rolled, broken foot, something. Dayton beat DeSanto after having to wrestle an earlier match and then make weight.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't know that. He had to wrestle at like 6:05, then make weight at 7 and wrestle at 8. Okay. And, Gear wrestled really well, should have got a major. Some of those weights, you're not going to beat Warner with your backup. Serber's a freshman. Whitlake's only 1 takedown away from Bull again. The disturbing matches, if you're Oklahoma State, have to be 49 and 57. It feels like Sheets has fallen into a rut where he just thinks he's going to win on riding time. Doesn't have a lot. He's not attacking. So we'll start there, and then we'll come back to Ferrari. What were your thoughts on that? On the Oklahoma State, Iowa part, and then we'll talk about the USA part.
Yeah. I guess I understand what you're saying with Ferrari and the team, because it looks like somebody's taking the sail out of their wind, the wind out of their sails, without a doubt. But you got to also think that, Dayton Fix is a world-class athlete, and he's on your team. They need to rally around Dayton, and they should be able to.
Mark, they're different kind of leaders. Their personalities are different.
I understand that. So I would say that's what, as a coach, that's what I would be having my team. Let's get around Dayton. Let's follow his lead, what he does out there, the way he performs. That's the way I want you to perform in that case. I didn't think the wrestling was extremely outstanding by either team, David. I thought Iowa wrestled in Iowa style. They had a plan when they went in. They were going to force the issue on top. They made these guys work and work and work to try to get out. Could they have caused some stalling points? Probably. This dropping down into a crotch and kind of running a guy off the mat gets a little old after the 3rd or 4th time. I think Gefeller got to his feet, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in the second period alone, and was never able to get out. And Max was able to run him off the mat probably half those times, and the other times he was able to, Gefeller would get a little anxious and try to do a roll or something, and then, give up the legs, and then we were always on the edge of the mat. So I think I think these kids are using tools. They can't drop down to an ankle anymore, or they're going to go to a count. They can't do this. They can't do that. So they're finding a way where they're not on that 5-second clock, and they're getting away with it right now. So until that changes, they're going to do it. Like we had talked, kids and athletes and coaches are going to find ways to, okay, we can't do this, but we can do this right now. So let's
everybody adapts, right? People are always adapting. So it's interesting you brought that up. So people should know you and I talk all the time. Sometimes we talk about what we're going to talk about in the podcast. Sometimes generally, sometimes specifically. We didn't talk about this, but it's very interesting. It's one of the reasons we're always both looking at technical sides of it, right? I thought the same thing. So what they're doing, there's 2 things that Iowa's doing that are really smart. On bottom, they're not standing up right away. They're doing this elbow back, knee to your elbow, rotate back, knee slide, stand up, and they're preventing you from trying to lock your hands. So when they come up, we used to call it that you got your pockets closed. And I'm sure we didn't create that. So on top, what they're doing is, I stand up a lot of times, like I'll put your left hand, the grip on my left hip peel. And then as soon as that left hand comes out, they're coming behind, like you said, locking in the crotch. The counter to that is you got to hit a switch to a hip heist. Because as you're going out of bounds, if you switch, it changes the direction. Then if you hip heist, you can square up. And then what happens there is either you break the grip or you keep the person in the grip, block both the knees, get the stalemate call or the stalling call, excuse me, because that's you're on the leg.
Yep.
Do it again. Now you got a point, and then you still get to get out. But this is kind of like the Penn State back heel trip. These are just adaptations that great coaching staffs are making. And it's like that Jordan Oliver ankle wizard to the cradle. Like for a couple of years, they were killing everybody, and then people figured it out, and now nobody's doing it anymore. So it is literally the evolution of wrestling. So the USA stuff.
Before we go on, David, I wanted to say one more thing. I'm going to give Iowa credit where I think they deserve it. I think they are picking their opportunities when they're on their feet. Max Murin, for example, took one solid shot and scored off it. Went for kind of an outside knee pick and then actually rotated over to the right leg and grabbed that and sat Gefeller down on the mat. Same thing with Caleb Young. He had one solid shot. It was that outside single that he did. And then he turned it right back into, picking that other leg and having both legs. These guys are starting to pick their positions, which they weren't doing earlier in the season. And they know they're going to be hard to score on because it's going to be hard to get to their legs. Let's say Marinelli did the same thing. When was the last time you saw Marinelli get, take down in the first 25, 30 seconds of a match? It's been a while against a really quality kid.
Against a good person, yeah.
So, he's wrestling a quality kid, and he hit that little post and got into that single and actually picked him up and dumped him right on his, rear end. So give Iowa credit. They're starting to do some things that I haven't seen them do earlier in the year, and that's a good sign for them. But then all of a sudden they go back into where we're just going to make it a brawl. We don't think you can do anything to me, and we're just going to shove you and push you around. That's usually where they get in trouble later on in the year, and I hope that doesn't happen, but you never know.
Yeah, it's well said. 49 and 57, those two guys are just going to end up in a lot of close matches. They don't have a ton of offense. They actually have a ton of offense. They just don't do it. When you're low volume, you're going to be in a lot of close matches. They sort of know that. They kind of remind me of that Nick Moore era in Iowa, where a lot of those guys weren't winning matches, and it was more skilled guys like, Nick Moore's good, but he's no David Taylor, those kind of guys. But Iowa's going to have to get, for them to have any chance to win it, they got to get on the podium at 49 and 57. So Anyway, the USA wrestling thing, I think for most people to know, Iran was supposed to come in. They had a visa situation. Mongolia was supposed to come in for the women visa situation. Go watch the Rich Bender podcast. That's where we started. And, not you, but people watching. I don't want to rehash that. We only have 45 minutes. We got a ton to talk about, but really, really well said by him. So let's go into
David, overall, the event itself, watching it from home, and I know you were there, so it's probably 10 times as cool, was really a neat experience. I thought it was well done. I thought USA Wrestling put on one heck of a show. I thought Flo did a good job with the interviews and everything that they did before, and it was just a neat event. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Probably one of the highlights for me was, being on the floor. Jordan Burroughs walked up and said hi to me. Got a chance to meet Thomas Gilman's dad on Friday night. He said how much he enjoyed the podcast that we had done with his son. Those are very encouraging things. You try to do a good job, and it's nice when people say, hey, man, you're doing a good job. Okay, here's the team rankings. So before I forget, Mark Ostrander, thank you for updating the team rankings. Christian Thompson at fantasygrade.com. Thank you for sending us the individual rankings. Mark, these people need to be start getting geared up. Go over to fantasygrade.com. Christian told me yesterday they're going to run a Big 12 Pick'em tournament contest and a Big 10 Pick'em tournament contest. So those are always fun. And, the thing is, you're usually in those things for a while, especially when it's a 2-day tournament. So, and I'm going to say shout out to my crew. We got picked again to do the Big 12s this year. So,
congrats.
excited to do that. And before I forget, we're recording this on Thursday. Tomorrow night, I'll be on the mic for Virginia Tech. So face for radio, Mark, try and get out there and do things. So, okay. So Penn State, #1, they actually bumped because of Ferrari. So one source had Ferrari in the rankings. We just deleted it because we know he's not wrestling and bumped everybody up a slot.
Yep.
But that's just on the composite rankings. The team points that were assigned to those guys will be adjusted next week. Iowa's sort of a clear tier 2 at second. Michigan and Arizona State are neck and neck. And then you have this group of Ohio State, North Carolina State, Cornell, Nebraska. So what's interesting to me is at the beginning of the year, I think I picked Penn State 1, Iowa 2, Oklahoma State 3, Arizona State 4, Cornell 5. But at the beginning of the year, Michigan did not have Suriano when we did our picks. So they'd have been at 52. So they'd been right in this mix. So it's super interesting to see. And then the other thing was Cornell lost Armstead for the year, which is a killer. Because I mean, I had him at least placing like top 6. And so they'd be at 52 and Michigan would be at 52. And it's interesting how 2 moves, these teams are 30 points apart and would be literally neck and neck. Yep. So when you look at these rankings, let's say you had to pick the top 5 teams today. How do you pick that they're going to finish?
Today, I would say Penn State will win it. I don't think it's going to be a 40-point difference, 35-point difference, whatever it is, the math. Just like last year, I didn't think Iowa would win by, 30 points like we had talked about that. And it was a lot close.
Who's your other spots?
I'd say Iowa will be #2. I think Michigan will be #3. I really like Ohio State, the way they're wrestling right now. Arizona State still kind of scares me because they got some kids that I just don't know if they're going to show up. I like them, but I'm not sold yet. So I've got to kind of wait. I do like Ohio State, and I think North Carolina State could put a couple guys in the finals, David. And when you put 2 guys in the finals, that gives you a lot of team points, and they've got some other really good kids. So I think they've got a good shot. And I like Nebraska. They got some really good kids. So
what's your top 5? Penn State, Iowa, Michigan, NC State, Nebraska?
Ohio State. So probably North Carolina State, Michigan. Yep, those 5. Nebraska would be.
So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 is what you have.
Yep.
Okay. All right. It's interesting. So we'll get into the individual rankings here. Okay. So here's what I did. There wasn't a ton of movement. So what I did was I put in colors the tiers, the guys that I think are going to place for sure, and then how deep I think guys could place. And I think this is good visually because there'll be some like at 25. You and I think, agree. Suriano, Gloria, Rougeau, and Courtney are going to end up on the stand, right?
Yep.
I think you put Hildebrandt up there as well, correct?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be like, but the rest of these guys, like you're not convinced Barnett's going to definitely place, correct?
No.
And you could go all the way down to, I'm going all the way down to Latona, just because he placed last year. He was the #2 seed last year. I talked to Cody Brewer on Monday in preparation for this duel I'm calling tomorrow. He said his weight's under control. He's long. He's a bad matchup. So, I mean, what's crazy is I think there's literally 16 guys fighting for 4 spots there. Yep. Also, Drake Ayala was working out hard out on the ballpark. So and he got submitted for the coaches ranking. So it feels like he's going to be back. Okay. So 33. So these are the 5 that I have. And it's interesting because the rankings switched, because when we talked about this during the week, I'm like, Myers was at 6. I'm like, I have Myers in, but not Bird, as a sort of a locked All-American. So I have those 5. Do you agree with those 5?
I do. And I would agree Bird will be 6. So I think you got 6 spots or 2 spots for the rest of the guys to try to place.
So you go one deeper again. Now, is there anybody below Kolioko that you think could jump on you think has a good chance of jumping on the podium?
Not right at this time, no.
Okay, so that's interesting. You basically got, you would say 2 fighting for, or 6 fighting for 2. I would say 7 fighting for 3.
Yep.
So here's one of the things that you and me talked about that's important for people to understand. When you get to the quarterfinals, like, let's go back to, we'll just stay here, quarterfinals.
Okay.
So let's say these are the seeds going into nationals, okay? So
Yep.
RBY beats Ragusan, Fix beats Foley, DeSanto beats Bird, and McGee beats Myers, just according to the seeds, okay?
Yep.
Myers has to win, all those guys have to win another match to be an All-American, and they're probably going to wrestle one of these 9 through 12 guys. Like, and we could pull up the bracket. We're not going to do it today, but they're going to wrestle some combination of Cannon, Philippi, Hudkins, Kolioko, and those 4 guys are going to be coming off a win, and those first 4 guys are going to be coming off a loss. So it's not just, do you think Lucas Bird could beat Mickey Philippi? Well, first of all, who knows? And second of all, like we said, coming off a loss, coming off a win. So
Yep.
That's where there's a lot of chaos. 41. Okay. I have Lee, Ironman, Rivera, and Woods as super confident AAs. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Are there any of these other guys in the blue that you are super confident that's going to be an AA?
Chad Reddy does it every year. He comes, until he stops doing it, I'm going to go Chad Red will be an
Okay.
All-American.
So far you're 3 for 3 on one more sort of lock.
Yep.
In each weight, which is fine. This is just an opinion, but it's fun, right?
Yep.
Okay. But Clark, and I went all the way down to Misek because the guy was in the freaking Olympics, so.
Yeah, but
No.
he's not, David, he's not the right weight right now. We both know that.
Mark, okay. This makes for an interesting discussion. As good as Michigan is, would Michigan be better, and hear me out on this, at Misek at 33 and Miles Amin at 97? And here's why I ask. First of all, so Misek's 15th and Ragusan is 8th. Okay, so that's like 8th is 5.5, 15th is like 1.5. That's 7 points. If Misek was at 33, he'd be the 3 seed, third ranked guy.
Yes, he'd be
So
third.
that's 13.5.
Yep.
Okay, Miles Amin would be number 1 at 197.
Yes. I don't know, David. I agree with you. I think but it's hindsight. I think they really thought the guys, I still think they think Amin can win it at 84. And I understand why they think that. He's world class. He's wrestled a really, really good match.
It is 100% Monday morning quarterback. I'm just saying it's an interesting, I'm just quarterbacking the hell out of this thing. I'm just saying it's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we agree here. 3 locks at 49.
We do. We agree 100% here.
Okay.
And I have no idea who else is going to place.
And anybody below Abbas that you like?
Fine Silver early in the year, not so much right at this minute, but I saw him wrestle early in the year and he had all the skills and tools to place. So I think we could probably put a color on him also.
For you, sir, as the elder statesman and the sage of the show, it's done.
There you go.
Okay. So I highlighted Brayton Lean a different color because he's out, obviously. Okay.
Out. Yep.
So Carr, Deacon, Teamer, O'Connor, I feel like those guys are locks. Do you agree with that?
Agreed.
Any of these other guys you think of as locks?
No. I like Humphreys and I like Monday. I think they'll both probably be All-Americans, but still,
like if Humphreys had to wrestle Peyton Robb in the blood round, or
yeah, I'm not sure who would win.
Right.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Okay, 50. So this is interesting to me. I think we have 8.
So the rest of them shouldn't even show up.
Stop. I'm just saying. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't even joke about that.
It's a joke.
No, but I don't want people to even, like, we would say this at once a month when we were doing our rankings podcast. These are just rankings. I'm just saying We have the greatest sport because it's not like a committee decides who gets in the playoff, right?
True.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, it is in my opinion, it's the hardest weight at the national tournament with quality kids. I mean, high quality kids. All 8 of those kids are studs. Any given year, except for maybe this year, they definitely all be All-Americans. So I'm not saying they would win it, but they'd all be All-Americans.
I will tell you this, Valencia, A, put Keegan O'Toole in a cradle, and B, was 6'6" going in the third period and picked down and didn't look over to his corner. So that mistake won't happen again. You don't put O'Toole in his best position. I mean, O'Toole ended up pinning him, and here's the other thing. I have Brady Berge highlighted here because he started at 57, I'm almost positive. So if Berge went down to 57, I feel like he's in this blue quadrant with everybody else, right?
Correct.
Don't be surprised if Penn State does that.
Yep.
If you and me can figure this out, I'm pretty sure those guys can.
Yeah.
Okay. Are any of these top 8, do you think they're not going to place?
Right now, no. But
Yep.
there's, you got Ramirez, Amin, Hall, Weber.
I'm just
Wenzel-
saying.
Wenzel was second at nationals last year, and he's down at 16. So
Yeah, Pitt's having a terrible year. Bonacorsi and Wenzel have gone in the complete opposite directions.
yes.
They went from
But
second to round of 16 guys.
would it shock you if a couple of those guys below them placed?
Yeah, because I just think these guys are that good, the guys in the top 8.
Yeah.
The easy thing to say is I wouldn't be shocked by anything, and then you don't stand for anything. No, I would. These guys are really freaking good, man. So
Yep.
yes, it would shock me. All right, we got to keep it moving because we're trying to get some picks in. So I feel like there's 7 guys here at 74.
Correct.
And I feel like the blood round thing is like pretty thin.
Agreed.
84, I got 5. You agree, disagree?
Agreed.
Marcus Coleman got bear hugged for 6 last night. Came all the way back and lost 9-8.
Yeah.
So, but that's gonna hurt him in the
Big 12s.
Big 12 seeding, yeah. Because Kent, where's Jeremiah Kent? Why is he not ranked? Oh my God, they got him down at 26. Yeah, that's whoever's doing that is terrible. Okay. So, all right. 97. We don't have enough time to talk about this.
No.
Anybody could win this weight. It's
Yes.
crazy. So I just picked 5 guys I feel relatively comfortable about, but I'm not even sure about this after last night. Rocky Elam gave up 3 takedowns in the third period and overtime to lose to Bastido.
Bastido, world class on his feet. World class on his feet.
Stupid
Probably
good.
the best 97-pounder in the country on his feet. Can he stay on his feet the whole match? I don't know.
Well, I'd have to Google who he's lost to, but I mean, he has wins over Elam and Warner now.
Yep.
Okay. Heavyweight. I went with you on this. I had originally said I thought Jordan would, but he'd be in that round of 12 match and he could get gas tanked or something like that. He could get lanced. So, okay. So I think
Good
we've
way to
covered.
look at it. I like the way you did this, David, though, because it puts people where we think they're at right now, and then what's going to happen in that round of 16, obviously, and then the round of 12. When you get into the blood round, there's going to be really, really tough matchups to get into that All-American category. So that's kind of neat.
Okay. So on our picks here, the first, you got Murin and Young right. I got Gear right over Assad. You were wrong about Kemmerer majoring Plot. I was right about Warner majoring Slivka. So I'm not
You
really
were
sure.
wrong. You were wrong with Mastro Major and Ibarra.
Yes, I did not know he had 1 foot. That's correct.
I did not either at the time.
Yeah. So, all right. So what do you want to pick? You want to pick? Oh, we got to talk about Iowa State is the Big 12 champions.
Yes.
Are the Big 12?
How long has it been since they won the Big 12, David?
I think I saw like 2009.
Okay. So it's been a minute.
It's
So,
been, yeah.
Congrats to them. They've been really quiet. You didn't, after Iowa went through there, you kind of wondered what they were going to do. And all of a sudden, they just quietly kept beating everybody. There were some great duels. The UNI duel was phenomenal. Missouri duel was phenomenal. They went in and upset Oklahoma State. I think they caught Oklahoma State in that down period, obviously, right after the accident. So, credit to their whole coaching staff and the kids, the way they've wrestled this year. So
100%. And I'm getting St. John. I just texted with him. He's coming on the pod on Monday.
Good.
So, okay. All right. Remind me who's Nebraska's 33. Is that Parrish? Or no, that's Serrano.
Serrano.
And then who's her 57?
57 is
Rob. Rob.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are going to pick. We got time for this. This is good.
All right.
So we're going to pick Iowa, Nebraska. Oh, Blade Sisters, Arizona State.
Yep.
Let's give this a minute or two because it's important.
Okay.
Significant decision. It was down to NC State, Iowa, and ASU. I think a lot of people assumed Iowa. Here's where I think Iowa's going to have problems in recruiting. And by problems, I mean minor, because they're crushing recruiting right now, okay? I think for the super elite young ladies, they're going to be like, hey, the people recruiting against them are going to go, there's nobody for you to wrestle right now that's any good. It's not like if you go to Iowa in men's wrestling, okay, you get to wrestle Penn State, Oklahoma State, everybody else. Wrestle the whole Big Ten schedule. There is no Big Ten schedule right now. I think Arizona State probably sold them on the vision. You become Sun-Kissed Kids athletes. We're going to train you for age group and regular non-age group world titles. We've got the backing of Art Martori. By the way, and I keep going back to this, but Bender talking about Art Martori is epic, Mark. Like people that don't know who Art Martori is, it's awesome. So, okay. So you and me did this, and you're really good at this. Like I'll think something, and you're like, no, and then and I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Nebraska could win 5 matches here, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's make picks. Now, Mark, remember, you're going to go first on the odd matches, and I'm going to go first on the even matches. Okay.
I get excited, dude. You know that.
All right. Who you got? Ibarra or Reno?
I got a borrow / I really think Ayala's going to be in here.
Okay.
So I'm going to go decision.
Okay.
Iowa.
So I'm going to say Iowa / Iowa +1 if it's Ayala.
Okay.
Okay. I got DeSanto +1.
I get DeSanto +2. I think he takes him.
Probably a good choice. Okay. Who you got?
I have Jaden decision.
I will agree. I'll take Lovett decision.
I'll take Mirren decision.
Go ahead.
I'm going to take Young decision.
I'm taking Rob.
I knew you would.
I'm taking Bull.
I'm taking Bull major.
Go ahead. Maybe the best match of the duel right here, right?
I'm taking Kemmer decision, but it's not going to shock me if Nebraska wins this match. They have such close matches. I just think Kemmer's wrestling really, really well. He's so hard to score on. I'm not sure Labrioli can do it. So
do your legs hurt from riding both sides of the fence on that one? Like it's all stretched out there.
Have you watched these two wrestle? They're almost identical.
No, I've never watched them wrestle. Tell me about them.
These two flop around and get in the goofiest positions.
All right, I got Vens. I want to pick Vens major, but I'm not going to.
Vens just got beat. I'm gonna go with Vens also.
You got Iowa shutting them out right now.
I know. That's not gonna
Pick a
happen.
side. Do it. Just pick the whitewash.
All right, I'll take a side.
Okay.
Ah,
All right. Warner or Schultz. I know where you're going here.
I'm going Schultz.
Yeah, me too. And I'll take big cast, big tone.
Okay. You
Me
taught me
too.
into it. Yep.
So you've got this brutal. Okay. You've got this. It's 27-3. You've got it 30-3.
Okay. Good deal.
I've got it. Geez. 3, 6, 9, 12. And then I've got Iowa with, so they'd have 18, either 20 or 19 to 12. All right. Okay. So that's one. So now the other thing, a couple other things for people to know. The second coaches poll is out, which is important. Okay, it's not important as the final coaches poll, but it's out. People want to look at that. And the RPI is out. And the RPI, let me see if I can find this real quick. I think I have this in a tab here. RPI definition. Okay, first of all, let's go to the seating rubric. So this is the criteria, Mark, for people that want to know. I
All
think this
right.
is like very, very good information that not a lot of people have, right?
Yep.
So they have a formula created by Justin Tritz from Track Wrestling, and it does all this. So head-to-head, quality wins, coaches rank, common opponents, RPI, qualifier placement, and winning percentage. So now here's the caveat. If people are within so many points of each other, they're just allowed to throw it out and vote for whatever they want.
Yes.
Okay, but like one of the reasons we talk about this, like take heavyweight. So Colton Schultz, the head-to-head against all the guys from the Big Ten, okay, minus Gable. We're just going to put Gable at number 1, okay?
I think that's a good call.
But I mean, like against Paris, Cassiope,
Yep.
Kirkfleet, okay? So he's going to have the best winning percentage because he'll be undefeated, assuming he
Yep.
wins out, and he's going to have the highest qualifier placement
Yep.
because they're not going to win the Big Tens. And there's no head-to-head.
Yep.
So now it's 75% of the criterion. He's winning on 20 of it.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, that's 4/15. That's 8 over 30, 24 over 90. That's 27, almost 26.5% of the formula. He's winning.
Correct.
Okay. So common opponents, that's going to be a push.
Yep.
Okay. So now it's out of 20 out of 65. And so then RPI, which is super difficult. So you see quality wins on here. Here's the quality wins explanation. This is probably a lot. So we'll probably talk about this later. But it's basically, it's beating guys that are of a certain formula. Like they take the final coaches ranking. Let's talk about this next week. This is actually interesting. It's RPI. The NCAA, your win percentage times your opponent's winning percentage times your opponent's winning percentage. So let's use this as an example. It's a couple years ago when Zahid was wrestling. He's undefeated on this copy. So I'm going to say that's pretty good. Like this is just somebody's comment. He's wrestled almost everyone in the top 10. So his opponent's winning percentage is also above average. Let's call it 0.65. And his opponent's winning percentage, we have no idea. Let's call it 50%. So you multiply 1 times 0.65 times 0.5, 0.32. Yeah, 0.325. That number's meaningless. But when you do it for every other wrestler and sort them in descending order, then you have a metric. So they do this for everybody, and then the high number wins. Okay, and if you go back here, that's 10%.
Okay. I think that's clear as mud right now, David. I think we all understand it.
What it does do is reward you for wrestling good guys that wrestle other good guys.
Correct.
The fallout of it is you don't, like, guys are not encouraged to wrestle D2s, NAIs, JUCOs, stuff like that. And the Big Ten really benefits because their conference schedule is so much better than everybody else's. Okay.
I think next week, David, we can pull up the RPI rankings and kind of try to figure out where people are at and why they're there. And then it really, to me, is the most confusing thing in the world, because they have people that are RPI #1, and they have 3 or 4 losses, guys that are undefeated and really, really good. We've seen them wrestle, and they may not have enough matches in, they're not even on the sheet. So, yeah.
All right. You want to do this real quick? NC State,
Sure.
Virginia Tech, we got like
Sure.
4 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna have to just do this as we go. So NC State is Camacho, right?
Yep.
Versus Latona. Okay, who you got?
I got Latona by decision.
I'll agree. Okay, this is gonna be Arini against Myers. I'll take Myers.
Myers bonus points.
Bonus points.
Yep.
Okay. This is Girardi. Who's NC State's 41? Ryan Jack.
Jack.
Who you got?
I'm gonna take Jack by decision.
I'll agree. 49, Tariq. Tariq is over here.
Against Andonian.
Yeah, that's an awesome match.
Great.
I'm going to pick the fans to win that match.
Okay.
No, I'm going to take Tariq.
Agreed.
Okay, Ed Scott against, who am I thinking from VT?
I think is it
I can tell you right here. Connor Brady.
Brady, yeah. I wanted to say Bergie, but it wasn't Brady. I'm gonna go Scott decision.
Agreed. 65. VT's got Ulray.
Olin.
Okay. NC State at 65. Bullard. He's having a bad year.
Yes.
Who you got? But he's probably still ranked ahead of Ulray.
Yep.
You going in NC State?
I'm going NC State.
Okay. So probably the best match of the night in terms of rankings. What you got?
I got Hidley winning this by decision.
All right. I'm saying you got to beat the champ to be the champ.
Yep.
84. Hidley's ranked higher, but Boland's beating him every time but one.
Yep. So I'm gonna go. You're up. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna take.
I almost jumped in there, David.
I'm gonna take Boland because I want this duel to be close.
Okay, I'm gonna take North Carolina State.
Okay. 97 is Trumbull.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Oh yeah, see, you almost did it. I'm gonna take Trumbull.
Me too. And then heavyweight. I'm doing pretty good in these tabs, Mark.
Getting
Flying.
there. Is it
Flying.
Wilson? Is Wilson still wrestling or?
Kyrie Houghton.
Oh boy. You're first.
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech.
I got it 15-15.
I'm a little off.
You've got it 21-10.
I can live with that. And maybe we can get Grant to make his picks before the weekend starts and go from there.
Grant's gonna pick Virginia Tech 30-0 because NC State's an Adidas school. Okay.
Oh,
So,
Okay.
so that's, I don't need his picks. I know how that's going to go. So, great duels this weekend to watch. And hey, here in Missouri, I think in Iowa, state tournaments this weekend.
Yep, big times.
So shout out to those, all the kids. My mom, my dad's down there coaching. I saw my mom yesterday. She's the best assistant coach in the country, bar none. No offense to any of those people out there, but I'll take Jan Mirikitani, ride or die. But good luck to everybody competing. Good luck to everybody coaching. Winning a state title is something we're lucky. We talk about people that do things a lot more than that, but it's kind of in a lot of people's the first real step in the journey. So good luck to all the young men and women chasing that. For Grant, who's not here, for Mark, who is here, and for his M&D sign over there, tell Dana that she can have the sign back now that the podcast is over.
Sounds good.
I'm David. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and sharing. See y'all next week.